Hello, everyone. Excuse me, and welcome back to this podcast. It has been a while since I've been here, admittedly. And when I started this podcast, it was not my intention to just record a few episodes and then let it fall off into oblivion. It was actually my intention to be here, record podcasts, share knowledge and wisdom and information with all of you. And that dropped. And I have banged myself in the head because of it a lot. But at the same time, so much shit has happened in these last couple of months that really expanded me in ways that I am not even sure I'm yet able to describe. So many shifts, so much goodness. I have landed in myself in a whole new way. And that's also the reason why this podcast has actually changed name. Before, we were called the Rebel Rule Breaker. And whereas this is still kind of what we're doing here, then the Rebel Rule Breaker, for me, it landed for me on a mental plane. It landed up in my mind. It felt good in my body as well, because that's what I had been doing. I had been working so hard to break all of these mental patterns, these barriers that we put up for ourselves. And that is important work. It's really important work. But what's also important is to remember the whole. And during this period of upgrades and stuff like that, I realized that sticking with the name, the Rebel Rule Breaker podcast, would continue to draw me upwards, because that's what it meant for me. The Rebel Rule Breaker is the one who breaks the limitations of the mind, the rules that our mind has made up for us. And in hindsight, it really makes sense, because I actually, when I started doing all of this work consciously, I took a mental first approach and then went in deeper and deeper and deeper. But the thing that really works, the thing that really shifts everything, the thing that really makes you go from where you are to where you want to be, is the inside out approach. And having that approach to your life, to everything, really changes the game. It really changes the game, because instead of just changing it in your mind, you change your entire identity by changing it inside out. You change the physiological patterns of your body. You change the way your body reacts to certain stimuli, hence not reacting that way, hence all of these barriers and limitations that we were working on, they just disappear, because your body no longer gets that reaction. Hence, A doesn't equal B anymore. It equals something else. The response that we actually do want. Okay. So, for this new name, I have changed the name of my group to The Depth of You, because we're really going in deep now. And that's the thing that I was rejecting and not wanting to see and not really willing to fully commit to, that I go deep. I love the shadows. I love pain. Not in the sense of I love to live in pain, but I love to find the reasons for pain. I love to go into pain to resolve it, release it, love it, listen to it, accept it, and then change the game. But up here in my mind, I had a rule that said you can't be successful if you don't operate in the light. You can't be successful if you're only focusing on the dark. You can't be successful if this is what you want to do, if this is what you enjoy to do. So I forced my way to things that weren't for me, to things that were only a tiny fraction of what I actually enjoy to do and what I actually is fucking good at doing. And when this shift landed in me, that this is really what I want to do, that this is really what I'm fucking good at doing, like massive ripples all over in all areas of my life, because I landed in me. But because I want this podcast to be broad, I want this podcast to touch you where you're at. And I also want it to be for me, because that's first and foremost why I'm doing this business, why I am having this business, why I am who I am. That's for me, not for you. It's for me. And you get to reap the benefits of it if you choose to work with me, either paying or free. So this podcast is now simply called the Filterless Human Experience, because I want to give you the filterless human experience. I want to remove all the taboos and imaginary rules, as well as creating the safety, the connection, and the knowing in your bodies that it's not really taboo, that it's safe to talk about, that there's nothing wrong with you at all. And the way to do that is for me to share openly, filterless, my human experience, so you can connect to that, so you know that you're not alone. Because us humans, we are so good at isolating ourselves. We are so good at creating these bubbles around ourselves, thinking that we're the only one who feels like this, that we're the only one who's ever done this, that we're the only one who's ever this, who's ever that. But really, there are over 8 billion people on this planet right now. I swear to you, you are not alone. You may be the first if you're a leader type and you go forward, but you are not alone in your experience of that. Because there have been others before you, there will come others after you, and there are others right now who are also walking first. So you are not alone in whatever experience you have right now. In whatever it is that you're going through, you are not alone. And when we speak about this, I have been extremely good at self-isolation. And I think, or I know, rather, this is a shadow aspect of having that label, a empath or highly sensitive or whatever you want to call it, a energy sensitive. Because for me, the world was a very, very scary place. People were very, very scary. How you feel and connect about people, how you feel about people and connect to people says a lot about how safe you feel around other people. It says a lot about what you actually think and feel about people. And because for me, people hadn't been very safe. They hadn't been a very pleasant experience either. And it was exhausting and overwhelming to constantly be bombarded with all of these energetic impressions from other people. I wouldn't know if I was feeling this feeling or if it was the feelings of all these other people over there. I wouldn't know. So because it was so overwhelming to be out amongst people, I simply just started to shut down and self-isolate and create a life where it would just be me and my kids. One or two, maybe three friends. Actually, only two. One really good, and then one I could reach out to if the first one didn't have time, because that's how I worked. I always had a backup. I always had a backup. So I would make sure that I was never really alone. Hello, codependency. And then if I was dating someone, I wouldn't have a friend because I would be dating, so all my attention would go there. And that's really how it worked for me. I created this tiny bubble. And as a fourth line in human design, meaning community, meaning close connections, and having a lot of excuse me, tribal channels and gates in my chart, that's really safe to say that I was not living my life in alignment with who I was, with who I really was, with what I really desired. I was living a shadow life because I believed all of these things. I believed that it was overwhelming to be around people. I believed that it was scary. I believed that it was unsafe. I believed that I had to be a certain someone to be accepted. I couldn't not just be me, but really it was just because I was not accepting me. And the more I started to work on who I really was, who I really wanted to be, and just were that person always, and not changing depending on who I was with, it got less and less and less exhausting, as well as taking responsibility for your own energy field. It's okay to create bubbles around your energy field, saying, I am not interested in being bombarded by other people right now. Because the first time I did this, I actually don't even remember what year it was. I think I was 20, 19 or 20. So a good portion of years ago. I attended like a celebrity course. And what I walked away from there with was actually a way to shut down for my energetic channels. But I didn't know how to open them again. So I completely shut down from the energetic world. And that's when I started to withdraw from the world, because I realized how peaceful it really was. How peaceful it is to be living on your own, just as who you are, the way you want to, without the projections and the judgment and the mirrors and all the energetic impressions. It felt so good. But only for a while, because we are meant to be with people. We are a herd animal. We really are. So I want to invite you to look at your life, to look at your personal life, how you have put it together, and really feel into, not think, really feel into your body, into your nervous system, into the depth of you. Does this really feel good to me? Does this really light up my freaking soul and body and heart and mind to live the way that I'm living right now? Because I realized I wasn't. And when I made the changes needed, everything changed. And my life just got better and better and better and better. And then it dipped. But the thing is, when the dips happen, you still feel good. Because how you feel about how you feel really tells you about your personal power. It really tells you about who you have become. Because you can feel bad, and then you can feel bad about feeling bad, and then the bad will compound and you will feel worse and worse and worse. Or you can feel bad and you can accept that you're feeling bad. And then there's nothing compounded. It's just how it is. You can feel bad and you can feel good while feeling bad. Because it is not, you're not one slate. You're not just one. You are many. So you can feel good and you can feel bad at the same time. So how do you really feel about your life right now? About your social life, how it is? I am so curious to know in the comments. And if it feels too exposed here on YouTube, to put it in the comments, you are more than welcome in my group. I'm putting the link down below. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.